And then what about, so the carpentry work, you did that your whole life? You're a carpenter? That was your first job, and that was the job you,
My
besides,
first job, was actually the first job was going to get ice, and they would pay me for it.
And how old are you?
Sometime, I guess I was about what, 9, 10 years old, and then we used a sickle to cut trees and to cut grass, and I cut some some grass over at the Williams house on William Street, and the man that owned the fact it was 2 large buildings on William Street right across from the church, and he asked me, he says, you mind cutting the yard for me? I said, not at all. He said, well, you have to get some help. So I went and I picked up James Edwards, and we were doing some work, And Edwards was always jolly. He smiled in a minute. And the owner of the 2 buildings, he was a millionaire. And he looked at Edwards, he says, you know something? He says, you got a wife and 4 children, and you smiling and singing? Says, I have a wife and 1 child, and I can't smile and sing like you, and I can't eat what I just seen you eat. So you are happier than what I am.
Who was the name? What was the name of the millionaire? Was it William Curry?
No, William Curry is the first millionaire in the state of Florida, not only in Key West. See, I remember that. But this guy, he used to, most of his time that he would spend in New Jersey and come to Key West in the wintertime, and would leave someone to take care of the places. And that's when he asked me about doing some carpentry work, and I told him I could do it, and he was surprised. See? I tell him how much it was, and he all gave me twice the amount of money that I would ask him for.
Oh,
See?
that's nice.
So this has encouraged me. Then I said, you know, it really feels good when you work for your own money and spend your own money. And if I made $3, I gave my mother $1, I spent $1, and I put up $1.
And how many brothers and sisters did you have?
5.
So there's 6 of you, or 5 of you?
5.
And they're all in Key West, or they moved?
No, they passed. But most of the time I had a sister, the older sister that lived in New York. She lived there for 28 years. Her husband used to work for the Belmont horse race company. See? And when my mother took sick, Marion was one that she didn't value anything. She'll put $200 down and get up and go down to Crest and come back. It didn't make any difference. See, and when my mother took sick, she was sick for about 18 months. And one year, my sister made 5 trips from New York to Key West when she was sick by plane. And at that time it was expensive. See?
Yeah.
So then my brother, Tommy, your daddy knows him well. He was the first black inspector for the plumbing system of the city of Key West.
That's cool. And what do you miss most about Old Key West?
The relations of, as a matter of fact, that had something to do with it. The TV. The people used to sit on the porch and talk, and they would sit down and eat their grits and grunts on the porch. They eat the cake on the porch, and they would conversate on the porch. See? And one thing, the people never went hungry, and they were some of the best garments you can get. Like David Aronovitz, he had one of the biggest wholesale stores in Key West, a clothing store. And the store was just located right off of Angela Street and Duval. And they had people to come from the various places in the Bahamas to come over here to buy clothes for me. And this lady came in, and she didn't have no better sense to talk with Paul, and Paul was a born comedian, and he was a Jew. So she asked him, says, do you have any material or any clothing that niggas don't wear? He said, yes, ma'am. He says, wait a minute. He went in the back, came back with a whole handful of croaker sacks and said, this is the only thing they don't buy.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh, you said that some of the Jewish stores, there was a sale if you were the first customer, it was 50 cents off. Which stores did that?
That was Krejci and Frank Hausberg. Krejci, he was located on the Wall Street between Petrona and Angela, and was a long building. And the boys used to watch till they go in, especially on a Monday. And if they want to get a pair of pinstripe pants, which the more you wash them, the better they look. And at that time, they would run $7, $8. $7, $8, that was plenty of money. Yeah. So, come in.
All right.
Hold on a minute.
What you say?
Hey, what you say? Hi?
Hello. Hi there. Are you his grandson?
Yep.
That's my grandson.
I was trying to get him on camera, but he said no, so we got the voice. We got the voice. It's a good voice, though.
You look familiar.
Yeah? I mean, the two stores that, Krejci.
It was Krejci, Frank Hausberg, and Jew Lily. Jew Lily, matter of fact, the two boys, they ran the business for years. after the Depression. And the black girl that used to work there, which was the wife of Harry Allen, and his father was a very outstanding minister here in Key West. But he was from the Bahamas, but he was here in Key West for years. And she worked with that family for over 45 years. And even when she was in a nursing home, the family said, look, anything that she wants, you give her and we'll pay for it, including the food. That was the two boys.
What were their last names?
We call them, in other words, the mother.
Oh yeah, who was the mother?
The mother was Jew Fanny.
Okay.
See? And she used to purchase food and give it to the poor people in the community. She had a good business, especially amongst the black, and she would purchase food and give it to her sons, and they would take it out and give it to the people in the community.
Where was his store? Where was the store located?
On the corner. It's still that, a matter of fact, they just put a 10 over it this week. Got Denny's over across, and right over across the street.
Across from Denny's?
The big two-story building, that's the store they used to call Julilly.
Interesting. What other places did you like to go in the 30s when you were a kid for fun? Or...
Well, we used to have dances. We used to have baseball. And you name it, the main thing was baseball. Key West was noted for two things: baseball and music. See? The average kid going to school, after school was out, he had to go to music. And especially the Butler family. Now, we had the armed forces here, which would be called the National Guard. And Cecil and Monica's was United States Armed Forces best band. And you know who used to write his music? Mrs. Ellen Sanchez, living right here in Chatman Lane. And she is still living. She's 114 years old. And still playing the piano. She taught Coffee Butler how to play the piano. And believe it or not, Coffee Butler was one of my Boy Scouts. Samuel Brown was one of my Boy Scouts, and today he is the priest of the Episcopal Church in West Palm Beach.
Oh my gosh.
Harry Evans. He was another one of my Eagle Scouts, and he's a big contractor in North Carolina. And they're up in age and doing well. And believe it or not, whenever they come to Key West, they knock on the door. Says they'll never forget what they learned in the scouting program.
Wow. And you like to play baseball? Did you play at the end of Southern?
Yeah. The average kid plays baseball in Key West. Baseball and swim.
And where would you swim?
We used to swim over a tramp boat. The boat used to come here from Cuba, the Governor Cobb, and the New Yorker. The boat used to leave here going to New York. See? And then we had the Governor Cobb, which used to come here from Cuba, and they'd be loaded with pineapples. And we had a pineapple factory here in Key West. Used to cut them, peel them, can them right here in Key West. See? And during the season, when they carried the pineapples, everybody in Key West had pineapple tart for dessert. See? They go down there and you could take a pan and at the trough, the pineapple running through go in the can, they would miss the can. And the people would come out with a whole pan full of pineapple. See? And when they first started, this was before the 1935 hurricane. They would can the factories, and the freight train used to take them to New York on the Florida. See? They'd load them up on the train and take them all the way to Florida. They had a turntable right here at Boca Chica. I had the opportunity to go to Miami on the train twice. And used to have the freight boat used to come out of the Trombo, and then they had another boat used to come in at Mallory Square. They would bring in lumber. They'll bring in cars and parts for cars. And we used to have to unload them now and then. They pay you so much an hour to unload them. Well, the only lumber company you had then was Strunk Lumber Company. And they was located over there where the United Kingdom next to Foster's grocery store. That's where Strunk had his lumber company.
It's been in business for a long time.
Yeah.
Let me see, what else? What about did you ever go to one of the processions, the funeral processions? Did you ever do one of those? You remember that when you were little?
Yeah, my first possession I went to, Mama bought me a sailor suit and told me I was a pallbearer for the little boy had died. And I wanted to know what the pallbearer would do. See? And she sat down, took time out and broke it down and told me it was what. Well, at that time they used to have horsey and buggy. They would have the horses on a piece of black drape go over the horse and also over the hearse. See? And the driver would be sitting way up high, the big black top hat. So this is where the Key West Undertaking Company and Lopez, they used to work together. See? Like during the hurricane, they was bringing some bodies in here. And Clifford Johnson, he was one of the best and the youngest morticians in the state of Florida. Lived in Key West. And Aaron Castillo, that has the funeral home now. That's my nephew. He used to work for Johnson. See, as a young boy.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he was. Clifford was one of the best, and sometimes people get burnt or they get into a serious accident, and he put that body together, and you can hardly tell the difference.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't imagine doing that. That's Navarro. He was a trumpet player.
Cody.
Cody.
That was his nickname. His daddy was a barber. Miss Sanchez, she taught him blow the trumpet. And when he was in school, he was straight up and down like this.
He was
After he got out of school, boy, he looked like he blowed him up. And he played, he and Harry Chipchase played with some of the most famous bands in the state. Cody was well known in New York. See? Because you even take it right here, his sister still live here.
Oh, really?
Cordial, Dolores, she live over here on Catherine Street.
Wow. How old is she?
She's, I don't think that she's maybe 70 something. Yeah.
So, okay, well, those are all my questions. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
No, that's just about the top of the issue, and to show you how lively with funeral service here and politics and also sports. If you were a Yankee fan, I'd be a Dodger fan. See? And if the Dodgers lose, they'll go over and get the hearse and hook it up to the horse, and they'd be burying, and on the side, rest in peace, Dodgers. Or if the Yankees lose, rest in peace, the Yankees. And I'm sure that your father remember this one, when they have the election, so like Bernie Papi and Julio Ramos, when, because Papi was in, what, he was in office for 28 years, I think, or close to it, when Charlie Ramos beat him out. So they went, got a big sign, put it on the side of the hearse. Benny C. Papi, rest in peace. See? And on the other side, it says, God go with you. And they would have the band playing the Dead March and go down to Wall Street.
Nuh-uh.
That's how hard they now. You take it now with Barack Obama and Bush. At that time, if this would happen then,
Oh, but McCain.
yeah, McCain, they had to put get a casket and put it in there and have this picture sitting to the window and go down to Wall Street or go around to the community and play a funeral march.
And that was the owners of the funeral home?
The owners of the funeral home, they would give it to the Dodgers fan or the Yankees or something like that.
That's funny.
I gotta go to the football field today, but I'm gonna try to come back later on tonight. I'll be back.
All right, coming back when you leave out there?
Yeah, it was not too late. Hopefully it's not too late. I got a lot of things. We go away next weekend, this Saturday.
Hmm?
We go away this Saturday, so I got a lot of
Yeah.
things I gotta take care of with the kids and stuff.
All right.
Nice meeting you.
Nice seeing you. That's funny. That's funny that they did that.
Well, that's good sports.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. Because I remember when we used to play baseball.
Oh, wait, one second. Okay. When you used to play...
And the winner would get beer, case of beer, or 2 cases, whatever.
Can you start from when we used to play baseball? I want to get, because it was loud when you said that.
Yeah, when we were playing baseball, and what our motto was, whoever wins would get the beer. Well, that's something I never did go along with. I think well, from a youngster, young boy, I never did like beer. See? And they'll give me my share and I'll give it to somebody else. I just didn't like the taste of it.
Yeah.
See? For years, this was for the fun of it. And this was just, now the local boys playing says the Blue Heaven would play the Elks, or the Elks play the, whoever wins would get the sword or get the bell. And that went right on for years. See? As a matter of fact, over at the American Legion, I'm one of the oldest members of the post. 60-some years I've been a member over there. See? In fact, he helped to put the roof on the building and etc. Then we had the Honor Guard, which was 28 young people. And we won the drilling contest in Tampa, Florida. That was the first time in one McDill field in Tampa, Florida, that black silver walked on that field and we walked on there and took the trophy.
That's cool.
So they gave us a big trophy, and the sheriff in Tampa, he says, listen, outstanding, you did a good job, and I'm going to treat you good, and I want you to go back and tell John Spotswood that I gave you a good time. So the sheriff in Tampa and the sheriff Spotswood in Key West was real close. See?
That's cool. Do you remember watching the conga lines up and down Duval Street? Did you see those? When the Cubans would dance with the outfit?
Yeah, when I was young, I used to be in the line.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You danced in the conga line?
Junk canoes and Key West junk canoes, and also we had the Hispanic band. The baseball players from Cuba, they used to come here to play the voice in Key West. See? And well, they block off the Wall Street down by the Cuban Club. So my brother-in-law, which he was mixed half Cuban and half black, see? And he was a number writer. He'd leave home Friday and come back Monday.
What's a number writer?
He's a bolito.
Oh.
See? So he'd leave and they open the Cuban Club Friday, and Monday morning, some of them come home, they stick on the necktie and collar.
They come home with a necktie.
Yeah, they dressed up for Friday night to go to the Cuban Club, and when they come out of there, it's Monday morning.
Okay, they were selling the numbers?
They're selling numbers and playing and gambling at the same time.
Okay. At the Cuban Club.
Mm-hmm.
And what was his name?
Thomas Quintana. Used to call him King.
And you said he was half Cuban?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he spoke more Spanish than he did English.
Did you go to El Anon? El Anon ice cream parlor?
Yeah, many times they used to have a variety of fruits like pineapple, sugar apple, tamarind, guava, you name it.
And what did you like?
See? The sapodilli.
It's my favorite.
See?
I never had sapodilli ice cream, but I love the fruit. I love the fruit is my favorite.
And so I used to make it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Used to get the sapodillis, and I would make it on Saturday and keep it in the box in the freezer and let it get cold. And Sunday after dinner, that would be the dessert.
It's good dessert.
Yeah. And I had to make pound cake. My sister, she was the head cook for Beeling's restaurant down on the Wall Street. It was a boarding house. And she was the head cook there. And she was a good cook. Marion could cook anything. And I used to watch her. So I learned how to make pound cake. I learned how to make coconut cake. And of course, I don't think you know what that is. Benny cake.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah. In Spanish is yejoli. In English is Benny. See, it look like bird seed. So, not only that, I mean, I used to boil ham. You'd get one of those big 5-gallon can. You get the ham and you would put the ham in the pot, and you would get the wood and put it under to get it to boiling. See, you throw that first water off. The next one, you put the ham back, you get the garlic, oregano, onions, sweet pepper, and so forth, and you put it and let it boil. Then, when you put your piercing rod through, and if it don't come out, you know it's done. You would cut the skin off of the ham. See? You set that aside because you take that, you fry it, and you make what they call chicharroni. Yeah, what you call now, you buy it in a package, they call it skins.
Oh yeah, yeah.
See, pork skins? Well, they used to say that, but after you get all that off, you get pineapple juice and you pour it all over the ham. Then you take your show and you sprinkle the sugar on the ham. And we had what they call a hand iron that we would put it in the fire while the ham is cooking. And that thing become red hot. And you would put your glove on and singe the ham with that, and that flavor will go right straight through to the bone. See?
Sounds delicious.
So, yeah, you didn't use the oven to fix it. We used to call it candy ham. See?
What did you do for Christmas or Christmas Eve? You just, the family would come over and just be with the family, or?
Well, most of the time we spent at the church. See?
Yeah.
And then you would have memory voices that used to quote from the Bible in reference to the Christmas holidays. Sometimes they would give me 2 parts. When I first started, I was really reluctant, you know. And after I got into it, it could be 2 people or 2,000. It didn't make me any difference. So I went to a national convention in Atlanta. 14,502 people were in there. And I had to speak. And the lawyer, the same lawyer from St. Petersburg, he says, "Charlie, how did you do it?" I said, "Man, I got the nervousness because you had to speak. And you standing up there like it wasn't nobody in there but you." I said, "Well, this started from saying recitations in school and Sunday school with a few people in there. And what you do, you normally pick out one person the furthest from you. That's the person that you try to look like you're talking to him. And those in between fall in line, so you didn't even see them." See?
That's a good idea.
So I know it was bashful for talking or eating. Some people reluctant to sit to the table. If it looks good, I'm gonna find out if it tastes good.
That's great. Well, Mr. Major, it was really good interviewing you. If you change your mind and want to be on camera, you call me up. Because you're very handsome. You should be on camera.
Yeah, I had the Reverend. We get together, I can mention it to normal Sawyer. And we're getting together. Norma's gonna write the second book.
Wonderful.
And we're gonna write the first one.
Oh, good. That's awesome.
Yeah. So you know, one time here on Patrona Street, there was 4 bars in one block, and everybody had a house full.
They had a house full of?
Yeah, so drinking beer and playing the piccolo and you name it.
Oh, the bar was full.
Yeah, the bar was full of people.
Wow. What year was that?
That was just before the war.
Wow, that was during the Depression. During the Depression, there were 4 bars on Petronia. Do you remember their names or some of their names?
Bubble Jack was one. The Cave In, Shorty's Bar, and was trying to think of the last one. His mother was very religious, and boy, he was a rogue. And he had a bar on that. Then in the next block, it was 2, and in the next block, it was 2 more.
Wow.
The Imperial, that's when we had Louis Armstrong came and played at the Imperial.
Wow.
And we had at the VFW American Legion, James Brown, we had him here twice.
Wow. What do you know what years that Louis was here?
Louis Armstrong?
Yeah.
That was in the 50s.
Wow. And where was Imperio?
Imperial was on Whitehead Street. The owner was Oscar Millian. And, well, you couldn't get standing room in there.
Did you get to see it?
Yeah.
You were standing in the back or in the front? Or...
No, well, Oscar and I was really close. And my brother owned a bar at the foot of Elmer Street. They went to Miami. So the mortician, Clifford Johnson, and I, we took care of the place. We closed it. And he says, Charlie, let's go and listen to Louis Armstrong. And they had the guy there where you pay your money. So we walk up there, he looked, he says, go on in. And didn't even charge us.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you remember what song he played? I mean, what song he sang? He played the trumpet and he was singing?
His regular numbers, one he used to really sing good was Goodbye Baby. And if you would notice, the average singer that made top hits, you have people that can imitate, but you don't find nobody imitate Louis Armstrong. Not King Cole, James Brown, and what's his name? Bill Dockett. Now Bill Dockett, he played organ, and in that organ, he had that organ so arranged that he had the trumpet, the saxophone, the bass, the guitars, and he would make that thing talk. And just one man sitting at the organ.
Wow. I love that. I love Louis Armstrong.
We had, I was in charge of the Rana Plaza over there for about 15 years. And I rented all the stores, also the apartments. And this young girl, white girl, she says, when you get through writing the receipt, say, come in, I want to show you something. I said, yeah. I said, what is it? She had a stack of Nat King Cole. Every record that Nat King Cole ever cut, she had it.
Wow. It's incredible.
And to tell you something that was real, I said, boy, I said, it's a small world after all. We had in fact, we was in the same grade in high school with Josie Cooper. And Josie could put on a working uniform and he would look dressed. He was always neat. So Nat King Cole was playing in Miami on 2nd Avenue. So it was 3 of us, including Leonce Findon, she was the girl. And he says, "You all going in?" I said, "No, you get a ticket." He said, "You don't need no ticket." So he walked us to the door. And the guy says, "How about the tickets?" He says, "They're going in on my brother." That's how close he looked like Nat King Cole.
Wow.
And he took 4 of us in the band, and they said, "I'm going in with my brother."
Oh, so Josie looked like Nat King Cole?
Born and raised right in Key West.
And they believed him?
Yeah. Nat King Cole said he looked too much like him. He said, "You better be good, because if you do something, I'll go to jail."
That's funny. Oh, and let me ask about your dad. I want to make sure I understand. He had a boat, and he would deliver things from Miami to Key West, the schooner. What did the boat? What did he do with his boat?
Tie it up right next to the cable. The cable boat, which is called the Western Union. They used to tie up right back of the A&B Lafayette House. And he would bring it in to the dock, and the people used to come down and get the supplies. See? From the grocery stores, and what he used to make good money on was coal. There's charcoal. You had a little basket like that for a quarter. See?
So your dad would sell the coal, or he would get it from?
No, he would stop at Cape Sable, which is about, 3 miles out of Homestead on the Pacific side. And they would stop and burn the coal while the trucks used to come in and loading the stuff for him to bring to Key West. See? And sometimes that coal would take a week to burn. Of course, you never heard of thing what a coal is. You ever heard of a coal kiln? This is it's normally made out of buttonwood, and they would cut the buttonwood and stack it. See? Then they would take the seagrass and put it over the buttonwood, and over the seagrass they would put sand. Down through the middle, that first piece that you put in was the first piece that they would pull out, and they would light it. See? And that coal would actually sit there, saturate, and the buttonwood would become charcoal. See? Then they separate the sand and the seaweed and put it in sacks. And one of the biggest customers used to be, what is his name? On the corner of Elizabeth and Caroline Street. It was a big, in fact, that was the biggest shopping center before Margaret Ann came here and Quick Check and Winn-Dixie. See? Because the first big shopping center you had was on the corner of Patrona and the Wall. which they called it Margaret. When Dixie moved to Key West and bought them out, and this is when they went out on Flagler.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Yeah.
Because Flagler was first called Rocky Road. See? And then they called it Flagler.
Yep.
So they changed the name on there 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, and Truman used to be Division. Do you remember when it was Division Street?
Yeah. And the corner bar White and Division. That's when the Florida Greyhound, it used to be a big building there. They didn't even think about a filling station. That's where the Florida Greyhound used to come in there offloading everything right there at that building. Because we had the Greyhound used to come in twice a day. And then loading the passengers and all the freight and everything right there in that building.
Yeah. Yeah, and a little bit further down was the coffee. It was a coffee mill. Isn't there a big coffee mill there, like just a block down, going towards Duval Street?
Oh, Rogers.
They still call it the coffee mill, but they turned it into something else. So exercise, dance place.
Yeah, well, the first coffee mill was on City Hall, right next door to City Hall. Boy, you could be over there to the Concha and smell the coffee roasting downtown.
Wow.
And my sister, she used to walk down there. Orlean, when she died, she was 101. And the first fire station in Key West was where the St. Carlos Theater at. And water used to come up that far.
Wow.
From the sea.
It's incredible. I thought, yeah. And then the other one was on Grinnell, the fire station on Grinnell.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because I think I got a picture of the first naval ship that was dry docked here in Key West. And also I have a picture of the, what's that? Burl Pender, Daddy. They had this big thing, looked like a big tank. And they had the horses, and they used to use the arms to pump the water out of the tank to the fire.
oh my gosh.
We had no fire engine.
Huh?
We had no fire engine, had horses.
That's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, Key West is going on. Where you take Curry and the Song. What's that? That's Caroline, right back at City Hall. That's where the Curry building was at. And he used to come over and tell my brother, says, he had a Model T Ford. And he says, you all sign the Ford for you. And I'll give you $1. $1, that was pretty money.
Oh, yeah.
And he gave us $1 a piece
Wonderful.
just to shine. You didn't have to wash it, just shine that Ford.
Oh, my God.
See?
What was his name?
Curry,
William Curry?
William Curry. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, for many years, and coming back to the WPA, I was in high school, and they had NYA.
NW. No,
N-
NYA?
What's that? National Youth Administration. And the girls, they used to have them work making dresses and blouses and so forth and on at Gatto's Garage down on Catherine Street. What's that? Catherine and Margaret. Right at the other end used to be the Fire Bell. See?
Yeah.
And what we was getting? I think it was $18 a month.
Wow.
They would pay us, and I used to go down and clean where they had the city commissioners meeting. I used to go down there and clean that and set up the chairs and so forth and on. And at that time, we had Raymond Cabrera, Josie Espinola. That was the two main police. See?
What, in the 20s or 30s?
It was in the 30s.
Okay.
And Raymond would get a warrant for your arrest. He come and look for you. Look, you got a warrant for your arrest. You're supposed to go to the jail, and they fingerprint you. They take your information. You come out till court time. I'm not gonna put you in jail now. You meet me down there tomorrow night. And he didn't wear a gun. And he, I'm not gonna put you in jail. Then, like some of these hoodlums, every weekend they was drunk and in jail. They'll bring some of the prisoners in, and they didn't have no bed. They had benches in there, and that's where I used to get the material to fix up for a city commissioners meeting. And they laid up there talking. They'll give them a bowl of oatmeal. That's supper. Plenty salt in it. The next morning for breakfast, bowl of oatmeal, plenty salt in it. They take them out and work them, bring them in, 12 o'clock, big bowl of oatmeal, plenty salt in it. But you didn't see them back the next week.
They left?
No, they wasn't coming back there. They're not going to do nothing to get back in there because
They're just eating oatmeal.
that's all they was getting was oatmeal. And now you put them in jail. They got to have the TV. They got to have air conditioning. You have to take them out to the doctor to get them checked out. And then some of them don't want to work. And whether they want to work or not, they'll do something that's minimal enough or not too bad just to get in jail to get something to eat and some place to stay.
Yeah, it's true.
See? And especially if the sentence is less than 1 year. So they stay right here.
Yeah.
And they'll probably be out some will be out 2 or 3 days when you look the right back.
Okay, well, I really appreciate you telling me all this good information
Yeah,
so I can use your voice.
yeah.
Yay! All right, good job.
Because I had a a lawyer
I think I know a lawyer.
came here from D-Land, Florida,
Uh-huh.
and he was working with the NAACP. So I took him over to A&B Lobster House to get him some conch salad. So we walked from here, A&B Lobster House, and we got there. He said, now tell me this. I don't know how you're going to put it together, but who in Key West you don't know? He said, you know how many people stopped and talked to you before we got here?
That's great.
So I've got some letters in there from Rand Sturrup. He was the first executive director of the Federal Low Cost Housing before Haskins. I have letters from Judge Carroll. That's when I wanted them to get bonded for the treasure for the VFW and the American Legion.